Hello, welcome to Off-Grid Thoughts channel. This is a Skil brand VXT120. It's a 12 volt drill, and I've converted this for off-grid situation. Put a cord on it to where you can connect to a 12 volt battery. So the reason I have this apart is because I don't know, this is the second or third time I've had this apart, but the reason is when I first got this drill, this was a thrift store drill. When I first got the drill, I did all the work to get the cord on. I used steel epoxy in this situation because there really wasn't like a piece of plastic I could put a hole in and zip tie a cord, so I just used steel epoxy on this one. Again, I've used zip ties in other drills because I've got a couple other corded 12 volt drills. So pretty much since I had already done this, I discovered that the front of this was kind of moving around. It was worn. The Planetary was really worn. The motor had a smell to it. I would say it was probably on the verge of excessive wear. Maybe not quite there, but on the verge of being having excessive wear on the motor, and you're getting a smell out of it. But the worst problem was the Planetary and the front shaft and even inside of the case, it was moving, and I thought that could affect the drilling because it's making the whole thing move, and it was all put together correctly, but it was just so worn out. Who knows what weather it had been out in, and I thought, well, I really like this drill, but wow, I guess this is the one that I made. A 12 volt corded drill, and I guess this is my most worn out unit. So I'd been thinking about this drill for a while after I did all this, and I thought, well, I don't want to waste everything I've done to get it to this point. And my plan too is, I put a 1/2 inch chuck, and there it is, and but I had this chuck, and I said, well, this thing is moving around. It's like, that's not good. But well, I don't care if I have to spend a little more money on this. I'm gonna order a parts drill from eBay. So that's what I did, because I had a couple of screws here that the heads were rounded off. This one up here, when I could turn the whole case around, but it was still attached. One of the screws, I could barely get it out. I thought, the next time you try to do that, it's going to round off. I got it out one last time, though. So the issues, the motor was on the verge of excessive wear. The Planetary was really messed up, really bad. The shaft is bad. So the parts drill, it was like the drill was 90 to 95% brand new, which was very fortunate. So the Planetary in this one's perfect. But when I noticed the parts drill, it had a different, they fit the same, but it had a different design of of switch. The wires, a wire goes in on this side and then back on the other side. A little bit different in this situation. Like on this one, they use a wire here to go to one of the tabs. This one, it's all inside, no extra wire. But this switch seems really heavy duty on it. So I got it all together. I initially used the original motor that I had that was on the verge of excessive wear. It was still strong, but I was getting a lot of smell out of it. And everybody, you know, who's ever done drills, they know, well, you're getting a lot of smell out of the motor. It might last a long time, but you're getting to excessive wear. So this is the one with excessive wear. When you turn it, the magnets, I mean, it still stops at the magnet positions, but it's much looser and it's much more worn out. Now, this motor, the magnets were a lot stronger. A nearly new motor is what that is. It's probably 90 to 95% new. But I had initially put this back together with this motor, and I said, well, 'cause I didn't feel like messing with the wiring that day, and when I was first working on it, so I said, I'll just put that motor in. The pinions were the same. Just do it like that. Then I thought, yeah, you should have put that new motor in there. And so that's what I just did. I soldered the wires and hooked it up, and so now that motor is going to be a lot better, because I'll probably don't know if I'm really going to use this drill to the extent that the previous person did. Probably not, but this is just going to get tossed in the trash, basically. So the leftover part from the parts drill, I'll just save this switch in case I need it. But again, this one seems like a heavy duty switch. This one has a cheaper feel. It's just a new updated part, a newer updated part is what it is. But it's a spare part, so I'll keep it. Not keeping the motor though. But the parts drill also offered me, this is a top trim plate to the top of the drill's case. This one was in much better condition as the one that I had, so I tossed the other one. This slider that lets you the reverse and forward slider, this one was in much better condition than the other one, so I tossed the other one. But one thing I wanted to go over in this video is something I really haven't seen too much on YouTube. And I watched a lot of YouTube shorts and YouTube videos on drills with a similar Planetary gearbox, and it's got the ball bearings for like inside the Planetary here, and also for the clutch. So I'm gonna explain that. Now, I wish I had done a video when I had this apart. I really don't want to take it apart again just to make a video about it. But what you got is you have the metal cylinder that goes in there, and when you have all the grooves, you're gonna have like 8 grooves all the way around. That goes towards the bottom right here. Now, there's a lot of information, on the web about, on the internet about how many ball bearings this unit has. And again, this is a Skil VXT120. You're basically, you're gonna have, like, depending on the design. I mean, there's a metal plate on the top. There's a top plate. Now, I didn't really take the top plate off of this plastic plate to check this particular unit, but it stayed on there, didn't fall off. But the other Planetary that I had for this, that was totally worn out, had 4 bearings in the top plate. So there's 4. Then there was, the internet says, oh, there's 12 in the Planetary gearbox. Technically, that's true, but there's actually 20 bearings in here. They're all the same size. So I'm giving you details in case you take one of these apart, or a similar unit. Ryobi has similar Planetary in there. There's some other ones that do too. So like in this one, there's 8 holes in the bottom of this. So technically, yes, there's technically, and that's kind of, stretching it. They should just tell you, oh, there's 20 of them. They should tell you there's 16 at the bottom and 4 at the top, but you can't find that information anywhere. So that's why I'm just, telling everybody. So there's 8 holes at the bottom. If you drop a ball bearing in each hole, it ends up going to the bottom, which is on the clutch side. Then what you'll do is, when those 8 balls are go through the groove, put another 8 balls on top of it, and then slide your cylinder down there. And the reason why you put the 8 balls on top of it and not just like kind of in between the balls is because that helps keep it in place. You don't have to put grease down there to help keep it in place. You really don't have to. I suppose you could, but once you got the 2 ball bearings in 2 in each hole or groove, whatever you want to call it, then you put the cylinder in there, and then just spin the cylinder until and it won't take very much, just a little. Then the cylinder will go all the way down in there. And then you put your Planetary gears, your Planetary assemble. Then also, your metal plate. But the 4 ball bearings at the top, that's just so if that plate somehow, if there's any back and forth, up and down, that plate is going to contact the bearing and spin if anything excessive goes that way, which it probably wouldn't anyway. But that's what that's for, the bearings. So if that helps. And again, I wish I would have made a video about that, but it's already together now, and I'm not going to take it back apart. And the reason why I had the Planetary apart was because I was removing the chuck. So it's got like a 3 pins at the bottom on a wheel. It's like a little hub, and I'd cut a keyed drill chuck key, and it's got like the part that would go in a drill chuck. You can clamp that on some locking pliers or vice grips, and then the part that you hold your hand on, measure the diameter of the inside diameter of the Planetary box. Then you can like take a hacksaw and cut the key where each side you have a little bit on the chuck key. Then you can put that down in there in between the triangle hub pins and use those triangle hub pins to hold the shaft in place while you take, like, say, maybe a pipe wrench and then take the old chuck off. You could also spin the front of this down, take a hammer, tap the threads. You might be able to get it off that way if the drill's operational, and then reverse it and then use the drill's motor power to spin it off using a pipe wrench. But basically, sometimes that's not going to work. Sometimes this is just going to be on there really tight. But that was the main reason I wanted to go over this, because this is like a little bit of a mystery to some people, probably, about the ball bearings. So that's why I wanted to go over that. So I'm about ready to put this back together. I've got the better motor in there. Only thing I'm keeping is the extra switch. And until the next video, don't give up on your off-grid dreams. I hope this video was helpful. Take care out there. God bless.